Whether you're building an early model, late model, it doesn't matter. Innovation is a key part of what goes on here at SEMA. We're at the 2013 show. I'm here with John McLeod from Classic Instruments. Now, cramming new technology into old metal is always a challenge, but you guys have some very cool solutions for that. You've definitely got that covered and have for years. You've also got a new autocross lineup, and I want to hear about that.
Thank you. The Autocross Series is a new venture for Classic Instruments. The team kind of got together. Autocross racing has become a big part of our industry, and so we decided, let's put the classic flair to racing in the Autocross Series. So, autocross is what we worked on.
Now, guys that are autocrossing old metal, they've got the chance to put new technology into their older cars. Explain what this offers people.
What we give is giving a good performance gauge that's a readable gauge that you can drive down the street, drive to your local event, race the car, and then drive back. So we had to take both pieces of information so it was racing and driving. So with doing so, we tried to kind of combine the two, but putting that classic flair into it. And I believe the team back at home nailed it.
I think they did. What are some of the features and benefits that we're going to see in this gauge cluster?
The first thing we did is a readable gauge. We have it offered in 5-inch and 3 3/8, and so it's a good readable instrument that everybody can do. Then we can also monitor everything that needs to be monitored, but we also give you a shift light in case you add an adjustable shift light if needed.
What other gauges do you offer from what we see here?
The instruments that we are going to be using is going to be the standard speedometer and tachometer. We had to put a fuel gauge in there, a volt gauge, water temperature, and oil pressure. The standard gauges were a must to begin with. But then the racers came to us and said we also need oil temperature, transmission temperature, blower, and also a vacuum gauge. So we added those in as well.
Very cool. Definitely exciting for the autocross crowd. Now, aside from that, you guys are doing something very innovative that applies to almost all of your gauges. That's called ZST technology. That's new to me. Can you help me understand?
Sure. ZST speedometer technology was 16 years of taking information about what does a customer need. How can we become a better manufacturer to our customer? We took all the information and challenges that they had and said, let's answer those. One of the biggest challenges for most people was calibrating the electronic speedometer. In doing that, you have your dip switches, push the button, drive a mile, and sometimes you had that button sticking in the face. We didn't like that look, so we said, okay, how can we do it better? With ZST technology allows the driver drive 30 miles an hour, grab his smartphone, grab your wife's smartphone, do whatever you want to do and get 30 miles an hour, push the button, that's all you have to do. So ZST, it really makes that simple for that. The next thing, big problem that we had is how do we know if the speedometer is getting that signal from the ECU, from the GPS, from the pulse generator? Nobody can really has the machinery that you need to measure that. So
right, sometimes you're stuck there, you don't know if you're getting a signal at all. It looks like it's working, but you don't know.
Correct. And so instead of trying to make them buy a tool, which is very expensive, or borrow one or do something like that, ZST has that information built inside of it. By a series of flashing LED lights, now the driver can say, yes, it is working, so now my tech department back home, we can tell them, hey, this is the problem or that's a problem. So it actually can self-diagnose itself right inside the gauge.
That's great. And this new technology from Classic Instruments, how broadly is it available in what you have to offer?
Today, it's available. When we launch it at SEMA, our #1 rule is you'll never see it on the shelves here in our booth unless it's available. And it's available today in any combination gauge. So I think it's 25 different gauges now that have a speed tack combination. It's available right now. By the end of next year, it'll be available across the board.
Okay, folks, well, you heard it here. It's on the shelves, so that means it's available. And if you want to learn more about these gauges or ordering, check out ClassicInstruments.com. John, thanks for having us out here at SEMA.
Thank you. Enjoy.